Hello and welcome. My name is Jill Davey and I'm a Dharma teacher with True North Insight. And this talk is being offered on this date of August 11th, 2021. And it's the day after or 2 days after this press release of a paper from the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And this report, one of several reports, was involved 230 scientists from over 65 countries working together for 3 years. And in that time, they compiled and studied and reviewed 14,000 studies and research papers on climate change and the state of our world. And the talk tonight is called Code Red for Humanity. And this is a phrase that the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, called this report a Code Red for Humanity. And he also said the alarm bells are deafening and the evidence is irrefutable, which many of us have known and know, and many amazingly still deny. And I would say the majority of us, and including myself at times, know, but continue to live on in our habitual ways that are a big part of the problem, or the cause of the problem, because it's clearly shown now that humans are the cause of the warming of the planet. Of course, it's our human behaviors, our greed and our delusion that are directly the cause of what's happening. One of the scientists and authors of this report, Professor Ed Hawkins, said, "It's a statement of fact. We cannot be any more certain. It is unequivocal and indisputable that humans are warming the planet." And it's through our voracious consumption of coal and fossil fuel products that this is happening. The raging fires, the melting ice caps, the flooding of the oceans, the flooding, the warming of the seas and oceans, sea levels rising, also the acidification of the oceans, and of course, all the extreme weather events of cyclones and heat waves and extreme rainfall, et cetera, et cetera. And it may not be the usual topic for a Dharma talk and a meditation class, but we're at Code Red. We have to talk about this. And if our Dharma practice and mindfulness is not serving awakening on all levels, then what's the point of it? We need to talk about this as well as all the other parts of Dharma. And this is a yes and, not at all a denial or a minimizing, but the the scientists also say that some of the most catastrophic effects of global warming may be able to be kept at bay if in these next 10 years, like starting today, in these next 10 years, we have to completely eliminate greenhouse gas emissions. and you know, so even these scientists that are, you can imagine, I can, like, all the evidence that they've been devoting themselves to for years, and this huge group of united communities, United Nations, coming to this really clear statement. And at the same time, they're saying if we combine forces now, that you know, and in the next few months, I think in 3 months' time, there's the in Glasgow, this key climate summit is going to be happening. And so all the stakeholders, you know, hopefully coming together, these world leaders, and really making this commitment in concrete action. And so what does this mean for us? Like, it can feel so overwhelming, like, what can I do? What can I do? And there's a lot we can do. I'll pop here into the but if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put links down below as well. There was a really nice, I mean, you could just Google, what can I do about climate change? And you'll find like really concrete actions that every one of us can participate in and take action on. This one I'm sharing is one of many from the David Suzuki organization. And so encouragement to, like, just check that stuff out, like just Google for yourself, or have conversations with family and friends. What can we do? What can I do personally to be part of this movement for survival and safety and equity? And part of this is putting pressure on our elected officials that will be going to this summit. And, you know, so that's a very important part of it. And conversations with corporations, but also looking at personally our own consumption and what we're purchasing and what we, you know, what we're driving and all those things. And so, you know, they even use the word hope in this, sparingly, in this report of there's hope that deep cuts in emissions of greenhouse gases could stabilize the rising temperatures. And it was interesting, while I was kind of thinking of this topic last night, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was on Facebook, live streaming on Facebook. It's just a crazy thing that happens, but it's quite a regular thing. And he was speaking to students in this live stream, and, like, you know, they were on Zoom, like big screens, and he gave a short talk, and then they get to ask questions. You know, you can tell that they've been chosen, the best students, and they've got these very thoughtful questions that they get to ask directly to the Dalai Lama. It's amazing. And yeah, I think you can probably find, they probably have the recording on Facebook or maybe on YouTube or something. I should try and look for that as well. I'll see if I can find that to put a link for it. And so the Dalai Lama, who has, he one of the children were asking about the state of the world, and he talked about hope, and he shared his personal some context. He didn't go into it, but he just talked about the suffering that his community, his people have experienced living in exile, and the imprisonment of monastics, etc. And he said that even though he's seen and lived through a great deal of suffering, he has never given up hope. And so I've been reflecting on, what is this quality of hope in our Dharma practice, in our lives, in our days. And another piece that came up for me this week is in another group that I'm in, a Year to Live course, and one of my fellow small group participants shared this very short excerpt of a poem. The author is Diego Perez, and he writes with the pen name Young Pueblo, which means young people, and it's from his Ecuadorian roots. And he says that it reminds him of his experiences of activism and the collective of humanity in the midst of important growth. And, this is really what's required now, is this sense of one nation, that we are one nation, that this is a really global, dire situation. He's written a couple books of poetry. One of them I'll share here, that this is said to be taken from. I couldn't say it. That link doesn't look like it worked, so maybe I'll try again. It's a PDF. Maybe you can't share PDFs into Zoom. I'll try it again, see if it works. No, it doesn't look like it. I'll find another way for it. So this book is called Inward by Young Pueblo. I'll write his name here for those of you here, and I'll put it down below for those on YouTube. And Goodreads quotes this as a segment from this poem, but when I searched through this poem, I couldn't find these exact words, so I'm not sure what's happened there, if they've extracted kind of, yeah, it didn't show up when I searched in the document, but it certainly is part of what he's sharing. This whole poem called Inward, this whole book of poem is really about self-love and acceptance, which is something I was talking with a friend about earlier today. So it's very short excerpt that says this: self-love is a sincere acceptance of the past, an agreement to make the most of the present, and a willingness to allow the best to occur in the future. This really stood out for me, that he's saying that this is what self-love is, with this referral to past, present, and future. I thought that was really unique. I hadn't quite heard it that way before. I'm just popping it, so it's there in the chat, that part that I just read. And so to me, this fits together with this topic of the reality of what's happening in our world right now, the acceptance of this truth, And how does this relate to present moment and our wish for future? And what is, he's describing this as self-love. Really, we can also say it's love for all beings, compassion for suffering, care, love, the wish for wellness and safety and peace for all beings, which is, of course, our practice of metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion, meditation. And yeah, so this first part of what Yung Pueblo is sharing here is self-love is sincere acceptance of the past. And this really also relates very much to karma, which understands that from infinite conditions, this moment is arising as it is right now. It's showing up like this in this body, heart, mind, in this world, in our relationships. It's that the acceptance that all the past variables have created this moment. And we need to not be in denial personally and globally anymore. Understanding that, we can't undo the mistakes of the past. And yet regret and remorse are an important part of the path of wise effort. So to see, to really let ourselves feel the grief and the regret of what we've created, and then use this to compel us, to inspire us, to motivate us to not be silent any longer, and to not be idle any longer, and to minimize our greed and delusion. And so the second part of his this excerpt from his poem is then the agreement to make the most of the present. And that this is self-love, is acceptance of the past, and this agreement to make the most of the present. What capacity do we have each day? Even if we're just picking up one discarded plastic bottle on our walk, we know that every day we've done something, minimizing how much resources we're using, and all the ways. I mean, I won't get into it, but like that David Suzuki list is one of many, many lists of places with really concrete, doable, personal actions. So understanding that this is the code red for humanity, that we must make personal and systemic changes now. It's code red now. And so then he goes on to say then, and a willingness to allow the best to occur in the future. That's really beautiful. A willingness to allow the best to occur. That there's hope in that statement, isn't there? That that sense that may the best possible outcome be, and may I be a part of that best possible outcome. And this is really where it connects to karuna meditation, compassion meditation, the wish for a future, present and future, that is for all beings, safety, health, and equity. Yeah. So there's grief in this. There's grief in this topic tonight, and there's some hope. the hope that from our connection of love, self-love, which means love for each other, all beings, the earth, the water, all the beings, finned, feathered, winged, feathered and winged is same, the many-legged, all beings. So the past is here, the grief is here, and to not let that stop us, to freeze us, to overwhelm us, to feel like hopeless, but to feel the grief and allow that to motivate us to respond. This is a poem from Rosemary Watola Tromer called Shade Loving. She's obviously, so if you don't recognize these words, they're names of plants, not that I'm a gardener, but recognizing that. It's called Shade Loving. Bless the astilbe, the hellebore, the hydrangea. Bless the lobelia, the bright impatiens. It is no small thing to grow. More notable still to grow in the shade. To not only grow, but to flower. To bring color to the dark. I take it to heart, the fuchsia hanging in the shadow, cascading deep pink bells all summer long. Oh, tough beauty, teach me the art of thriving in regions where light is scant, where light is not. Teach me to bring to the world the beauty I wish to find. For me, this poem really mirrors a lot of these themes that we're talking about tonight, you know, that it's no small thing for us to grow in this time of darkness, in this time of shade, of overwhelm, of grief. And yet, this is our task, is to keep creating beauty, love, and safety, and to bring that to the world. To bring to the world what we wish to find. Yeah. Okay. So let's have a practice where we connect with our heart minds in this truth and cultivate our intentions moving forward. So feel free to adjust your posture, change your lighting. You're welcome to lay down if that's what your body needs, or stand. Some people, if you're on the Zoom call, some like to turn away from the computer, or on the, if you're practicing with us later through YouTube, please take some time to adjust your posture and get what you need for that. And I'm just looking up some phrases here that I wanted. Nice laughter there. Okay. All right, I'm just going to mute for one moment while I ask my next door neighbors here to be mindful of their noise, and then I'm going to carry on into our meditation. All right. So I was mentioning how the poet and our Dharma practice really includes very much loving kindness and compassion, karuna, and how we need these qualities to stay connected to this reality. And the classical phrases of loving kindness meditation really resonate with this theme of our wish to be safe, our wish to be peaceful, and wishes for each other, to be well in body and mind, and protected, and to be able to take care of ourselves and each other with ease, to live with ease in this world. So this will be part of our meditation tonight. So you've come into the supports that you need to be comfortable and at ease as much as is available to you tonight or whenever you're practicing with us. And as you're arriving into stillness, feeling, just checking in with the effect of this talk and maybe a sense of overwhelm or grief or sadness. There can be fear, tension. So we're just beginning by meeting this truth in reality very gently, but honestly, as there is no time left to not do this. Just feel how that's affecting your body. You might notice areas of tension or numbness, disconnect, heaviness. And we're just allowing that to be known, to be here, if that's showing for you. We're meeting ourselves in this present moment with honesty and with kind attention. And then we're also allowing some softening into this. So any tension that isn't needed right now can just have some space around it or some softness with it. Might be helpful to feel into a soft belly, softening belly. Softening shoulders and face. And then a few minutes here of feeling this connection to our earth. As you soften the body feels heavier. Feel the touch points of your body with the ground, with our earth. Just right now, the body, whatever posture it's in, feeling the feet touching the surface they're on, or the buttocks, legs, or the back body if you're laying. And allowing yourself to really rest into that support. As if the earth is rising to meet you in relationship. And it's through this earth that we are connected with each other and with all beings. All the beings in the waters, on the earth, in the air. The earth itself and the waters and the air. All the plants and trees and fungi. Deeply interconnected web of life that we are not separate from. What the trees breathe out, we breathe in. What we breathe out, the trees breathe in. Nothing separate from any of us. Nothing. And Diego Perez, sharing this teaching that self-love is this sincere acceptance of the past. All that has been done has been done. And we have to face this. And with our agreement to make the most of the present and our willingness to allow the best to occur in the future, we now connect with these heart phrases, intentions, words of our deepest wish for ourselves and for each other and for this earth. Beginning with self-love. Allow yourself to feel into by either just the felt experience or by repeating this phrase silently to yourself or finding your own words that resonate for you. May I be safe. May I be safe. Allow yourself to feel as much connection as you can with this wish for your own self, the wish to be safe, protected. Free from harm. And then in your heart-mind awareness, begin to allow this to ripple out. Aware of each other here sharing practice. May you be safe and protected from harm. And just allow beings to come into your heart-mind awareness organically as they connect for you. Maybe family, friends. May you be safe and protected. Your community, colleagues, neighbors. May you be safe. And think of bring into the felt experience in your heart, the land where you are, and all the animal beings in that land and water. May you be safe and protected. And like a pond with many drops of water in it and the ripples that begin to connect to each other. So all these different ripples happening and the ripples touching each other in these ever-growing circles. All of our circles are connecting and rippling wider and wider. And we wish for the beings that we don't know. May you be safe and protected. And your heart awareness might connect across borders and boundaries and lines in the sand, across mountains and oceans, to this one nation of earth beings. May all beings be safe and protected. The earth itself, the waters, all the beings. Find the words or felt experience in your being that really help you to touch this wish, this willingness to allow the best to occur in the future, to make the most of the present. And I'll be quiet now for a few moments, and whatever way is most resonant for you, connecting to this wish for all beings. And now we'll begin to connect to another aspect of this traditional metta phrases, loving kindness. May I take care of myself with ease. May I take care of myself easily and happily. So this might include the awareness of what do I need to be well, to be taking care of myself. With the awareness that this taking care of myself cannot come at the expense of others or the expense of the earth, because I'm not separate. So we include in this wish, may you take care of yourself with ease, including each other, our ever widening, rippling circles. Just see who comes into your awareness, community, friends, family, colleagues, fellow practitioners. May you also be able to take care of yourself with ease. And as much as you're able, allowing that awareness to continue rippling and expanding. Including the animals in the water, on the land, in the air, the earth itself, the air itself, the waters itself. All of this completely interconnected with all beings, all beings. May all beings be able to take care with ease, be cared for, and take care. May all beings live with ease, safety, wellness. And lastly, as Rosemary Watola Tromer invites in her poem, teach me to bring to the world the beauty I wish to find. We could include the wellness I wish to find, the safety I wish to find. Understanding our wish for ourselves is our wish for all beings. As we come towards the close of the practice, see if you can locate a place in your body, in your being, that feels like this spark, this light, this energy of hope. It may feel like a small flicker, it may feel like a strong hum, it may feel like a powerful energy, however it is. See if you can connect with some place in your body that feels like the hope that the Dalai Lama spoke of. No matter how much suffering we see, we don't give up. If it feels helpful for you, you might like to touch that place with your awareness or with your hand. And stoke that fire with your awareness, that spark, that energy, that love. Fueling your intention, your agreement to make the most of the present, and willingness to allow the best to occur in the future. May I, may you, may all beings live with safety, wellness, and equity. Thank you for joining us in this practice. If you've joined us on the recording, check for the links below of the poets and the other links to what we can do, what you can do, what I can do, what we must do. Thank you.